done. I believe we're on. Now, let me see here. Can you ladies see me?
Yeah.
Oh, looks like we're on. Okay. Well, we're live. So welcome back, everyone. This is John Malanca with the Sacred Plant Healing Secrets Examined. We're excited. It's a big day for us. It's a launch day for season 2. And I have 2 special guests. And in your upper right-hand corner, we have Christy Tenrero. And thank you, Christy, for being on. And Christy actually works with the Sacred Plant now. She was a follower, and I'll get into that story shortly. And then we have Dee Mani Mitchell, who's down from Cape Verde, South Africa. So she's joining us down in South Africa right now. So welcome, ladies. We have, and you both have, I guess, gone through your own type of battles and breast cancer. So you want to share how you got involved with the Sacred Plant? I know that you knew nothing about us or medical cannabis. You followed us through, I believe, Ty Bollinger's informative site, The Truth About Cancer, which I've watched numerous times. And I guess because of his connection with us and getting our message out is how you found us. And here you are. So we're season 2. You both look great, and you're live. So why don't you share your story, Christy, since you're up in the upper right-hand corner. Why don't you raise your hand, Christy? I know it says your name there, but
Me.
Christy up there, and Dee's down under, and she's down in Cape Verde, South Africa. So thank you, ladies. So Christy, if you want to start with your story, I know I spoke with quite a few people, patients today that called, and they happened to be breast cancer patients asking about breast cancer. So I said, you have to watch this evening's live webinar, because our 2 guests this evening are going through this and have gone through this. So, so Christy, I'll stop talking and you can go.
Okay. Well, yeah, you're correct. I did. I learned about the Sacred Plant through watching. I was already on the list for Truth About Cancer. Shortly after I was diagnosed, I started watching Truth About Cancer, and it pretty much changed the direction that I decided to take with my treatment. And then they promoted for the Sacred Plant, and when that came out, I was very interested, and I always believed in the healing power of medical cannabis. And it was great to learn more information and see all of the testimonials and everything. And so I didn't immediately move forward with that. It wasn't until my recurrence. I did have a recurrence about 17 months after my first diagnosis. And then after my recurrence, I decided to seek out some help with medical cannabis. And so I started on that protocol, and it made such a huge difference for me in my treatment and everything. Everything kind of changed after that. So it was definitely a good decision, and I'm never looking back. So yeah, it was a good decision for me.
Well, good. I'm glad you did that decision. And then with that, with you being in contact with us, you work with us now.
That's right. That's right.
And I always share with you've been wonderful, helping with all the affiliates and patients that we've worked with that I've turned you on to, and they always come back. She's wonderful. She's wonderful. So
well,
I said that
you're
wonderful, and I appreciate. I'm a big fan of hand holding and customer service, and so I take pride in that. And so I thank you so much for
thank you
doing that for our followers and guests. So, and Dee, I know it's late for you, so I don't want you to. We'll keep you awake here. We'll try to keep you awake. But if you want to share your story, Dee.
Sure. Well, pretty much the same as Kirsty, really. Whereas I found the Sacred Plant Docuseries from The Truth About Cancer after that, from Ty Bollinger, who had referred me. Now, back in March last year, so March 2017 is when I was diagnosed with triple negative breast cancer. I was stage 1, fortunately, but grade 3. And the oncologist expected me to have 12 months worth of chemotherapy and radiation straight after, which I know would have taken me years to get over. So I knew when I was first diagnosed with cancer, I knew I did not want to go down conventional medicine. I knew I wanted to be completely natural. So it was just through researching and seeing the series that made me want to actually try medical cannabis. I started it straight away, pretty much after diagnosis, and within 4 months, I was completely cured.
Wow.
Completely cured by only taking a single drop every night. I did research, and I kept coming across the Rick Simpson protocol, which explained that you have to have a gram a day for so many months and so many days. I wanted to do a gram a day, but because it was so strong, my body couldn't tolerate it. So literally, I was just taking 3 or 4 drops every evening. And then within 4 months, after I had my next quarterly scans, I was completely clear, completely cancer-free.
Wow. What great outcome.
And now that has been 15 months since diagnosis. And I just had my latest blood test results yesterday, and they're still absolutely clear. So it's still working. And I still continue to take the oil as well every night. I will never stop that.
Well, good. And then you also wrote a book throughout your journey as well, right?
Yeah,
wrote a book. Talk about that?
Yeah, well, I just basically wrote the book just to help inspire other breast cancer patients, other cancer patients basically, into seeking alternative medicine.
Yeah.
Because so many people asked me once I got the all clear that, what did I do? What was my protocol? And I thought, instead of keep answering all these questions, I may as well just write a book so then everyone can read it and everyone's got my journey. It's all detailed so they can all refer back to it. And basically that's what I did. And the book is going great. It's inspiring so many people. It's encouraging a lot of the patients as well to seek alternatives. And only today, just literally 10 minutes ago, I had another Facebook message from one of the ladies that followed my protocol, and she's also now completely clear. So it's just absolutely phenomenal. It's absolutely amazing. It's
really well, I loved it. If you can share your book with me, and I'd like to get it out to our followers as well.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
Okay.
That'd be great.
Let me go back on the Rick Simpson protocol. Rick Simpson has helped a lot of, oops, sorry there. I think there's a little delay. Rick Simpson has helped a lot of patients. I'm not a big fan of blasting the body. I think a gram a day is too much. On that, and I've shared this in season 1 and I'll talk about it now. But it doesn't say, is it for a 2-year-old child or a 92-year-old senior? Is it a 50-pound child or a 400-pound linebacker? And so it depends on, it's not a one-size-fits-all. I'm a big fan of microdosing. What's the patient's current health? Are they sleeping all day? If they're gonna, and they're not eating. I mean, one study that Corinne and I came across was 40% of cancer patients die and pass of malnutrition before cancer takes over the body. And so that's in the wasting stages. And if you gave someone, a gram of oil, they would be out cold and they would be sleeping. Did you ever try that much?
No. I couldn't, because obviously I still had to work and I've got children, so I could not be sleeping all day or night. So I used to just take the oil at night, which also helped with my insomnia as well. So I perfectly sleep. And I'd probably sleep about 10 hours, or it'd be in my system for 10 hours. And for me, that's more than enough. I couldn't handle any more than that. And I still only are able to take about 4 drops every night, maybe 5 push. It's still now my body can't tolerate anymore. It could, but then I'd be sleeping all day. And, I don't really want that.
Yeah.
But, I don't think people need a gram a day.
No, I think it's too much. So we have a lot of new followers that just joined us as well. So we have Dee Mani Mitchell, who's from South Africa, and she's on the bottom of the screen here, as well as Christy Tenrero, who is in the upper right-hand corner. And both of our guests this evening have experienced breast cancer, and they're treating it naturally. And Christy, did you do any conventional meds at all, chemo, radiation, or what was your treatment like?
No, I didn't. My story almost mirrors Dee's, because I was also triple negative. They wanted me to do 18 months of chemo and radiation. That was the program that was set up for me, and I just, through research, I did go through the motions of meeting with the doctors and the oncologists and having them prescribe that. And wanting me to go in straight away to get the port and get it started. But I just couldn't in my gut. It just didn't feel right to me to take that path. And so I started completely changed my diet. I'm all plant-based diet. And started taking supplements. And then, like I said, I didn't start the oils right away. I wish I had.
Yeah.
I probably would not have had the recurrence, but I didn't. And after the recurrence, then I got started on that, and that's what's made the difference for me, for sure. Yeah.
Gotcha. So with this protocol, before you were diagnosed with breast cancer, but for both our guests this evening, did you live a healthy lifestyle? Were you into diet and working out?
I did. I thought I had a healthy lifestyle. That's why when I was diagnosed, it was a massive shock to me, because I couldn't understand how I could feel so healthy and develop cancer. Obviously, I wasn't as healthy as I should have been, but just who knows? But yeah, I felt I was healthy, but obviously I wasn't.
And can I ask a personal question? Does cancer run in your family at all?
No, not breast cancer, no. I had a sister that died from liver cancer 4 years previously to me being diagnosed. She went the whole chemotherapy, radiation route, and that's what put me off having conventional medicine, really. Because I saw the way that, the chemotherapy it deteriorated the body and it killed her off. And that's how I thought, I do not want to go that way. So for me, conventional medicine was just a massive no-no.
Yeah. And prior to this, for both of you, had you ever tried medical cannabis? I know it's a personal question again, but was it in part of your background, family?
No, not at all. No. Not for me, no. I'd heard of medical cannabis, I'd seen posts on Facebook here, there and everywhere, but I didn't actually, not that I didn't believe it, but I just wasn't aware of how powerful it actually was.
Yeah. Well, stories like yours, as well as our docuseries, The Sacred Plant, which we're going to have season 2. We pride ourselves on education and information, just getting the message out. It's not for everybody. I'm the first person to say that. It's not for everybody, but at least educating and giving other people's options is what we pride ourselves on. And so I appreciate you taking the time and sharing your story, because it does help. It does help. And as I mentioned, I had three separate calls today, all with breast cancer, women going through breast cancer. And I said, you have to watch tonight's live Q&A here. So will you watch this evening's launch of season 2, episode 1?
I would try to stay awake. If not, I'll watch it on playback.
So yep. So for our followers that are out there, we have quite a few people watching us right now. So thank you for joining us. In 1 hour, I should say about 45 minutes, we'll be doing the season 2, episode 1 of the Sacred Plant Healing Secrets Examined. If you have not signed up for this yet, you can go to thesacredplant.com and sign up. It's for free. It's a 7-part docuseries, and all series will start at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but it will go for 24 hours to the next day, and then that will go on for the next 7 days. We've had a lot of people ask about season 1. Have they seen season 1? I haven't seen it. How can I watch it again? And so what you can do, you can go to thesacredplant.com/docuseries, and I'll type this in the quotes here in this section down here. But so thesacredplant.com/docuseries/unlimited-access, and I'll put that there, and you can have access to season 1. Do that as well. Let me see here. What am I missing? I know you have your book called My Way. What was the purpose of that title? I love the title, though.
Just purely because I did it my way. And, I did go through the whole protocol of seeing the oncologist, and I had backwards and forwards meetings. And I think at the last meeting that I saw the oncologist, and he told me to go back after, I did tell him I didn't want conventional medicine. I told him I was going to try medical marijuana. He wasn't for it. He told me to come back in 2 weeks after I thought about it. And I did think about it, and I went back after 2 weeks, and I told him that I'm not having chemotherapy. And he asked why, and I said, because I'm doing it my way. And we just left it as that. And I thought, right, okay. And I did say to him after my next quarterly buzz, so in 3 months' time, if I'm not making any improvements, then we can think about what you want me to do. But luckily then after 4 months I was cured, so I didn't need to even think about the alternative.
I love that. And can you share with our followers, because I know getting that diagnosis is pretty darn scary. And what goes through your mind, one, but also what goes through your mind when you talk to your family, what you talk to your doctor, you look at different protocols. I always say, look at it as panic education mode. We've done this a couple times in our family. So what do you go through? I mean, what goes through your mind when something like this happens, and who to trust, where to turn to, because a lot of people just start grabbing for everything. And
it's kind of it's an unexplainable feeling, and it's a feeling that I never want anybody to go through, purely for me, because losing my sister a few years before that, and there's obviously fear, and it's just fear, and you just, when you get told that, it's a death sentence. And that's how, a lot of people think that when you say the word cancer is automatically, people see it as a death sentence. You don't think that you have a future. You don't know what to do. You just don't know what to do for the best. And then you think that, should I go down a conventional route, or should I try the alternative route? So it's a massive gamble, and you're gambling with your own health. But the way I looked at it is that after I researched, especially after seeing documentaries like The Truth About Cancer and obviously The Sacred Plant, it kind of instigates in your own head that why are these conventional medicines not working? So although I felt scared, afraid, and fearful, I also felt quite empowered by watching the documentaries and by researching and being able to take my life in my own hands and not listening to the doctors. But yeah, it's a very, very scary time. And with me personally, I didn't want to talk to a lot of people about it because I didn't want other people stressing and feeling uncomfortable. So I kind of dealt with it in my own way, and the way I did it, the way I dealt with it, I think was good for me. But other people don't want to bottle it in. Other people want to talk about it and want to get it out there. But for me personally, I just wanted to deal with it in my own way and in my own sense. Well, what's going through your mind? At first, it was just complete numbness.
Yeah.
Because you don't actually think it would ever happen to you. I don't think anybody thinks that they will ever get diagnosed because it's always somebody else. It's never yourself. But when you do get diagnosed, it's just it's a shock, an absolute shock to the system.
Yeah.
And it's awful, absolutely awful.
And I like how you mentioned doing it your way, because that's how we went through it. We it was our battle, and so I agree with you on that. And Christy, do you want to share what went through your head as well?
Yeah, well, my thought process was really similar. I was, it's a major shock, and I was really surprised because I thought I was the most healthy one in my family. I thought that, I was really surprised, to be quite honest. And then, you go through the roller coaster of emotion of trying to figure out what you should do next. And then there's a lot of, just worrying that maybe you're not making the right decision. But in the end, you really just have to follow your gut. I did do a lot of research as well, and I tried to be as informed as possible.
Yeah.
But I think just following your gut and that feeling of what is absolutely best for you, you have to 100% believe in it, no matter what anybody else says.
Yeah.
And especially with the medical cannabis route, you have to decide, am I going to allow myself to heal possibly illegally or suffer legally? You need to kind of make up your mind and just move forward with the protocol that you feel best with, and then and make sure that you stay true to it. You can't, there's no cheating.
Yeah.
you can't do that. You just have to, and I think that there's a lot to be said for believing in what you're doing wholeheartedly. I never, anybody who decides conventional treatment, I never judge them for that, because that's what they believe is going to heal them. So I think that that's, the path that they have to take. But, like Dee mentioned, you have to do it your way.
Yeah.
That has to be your decision.
You got to believe in faith. I know
Yeah.
What keeps me going is faith, and I still have a lot of questions.
Sure.
But what keeps kept us going and what keeps me going is faith. And so, I do a lot with a lot of integrative oncologists, international integrative oncologists, which they do different protocols besides chemo radiation. They don't use chemo radiation. And one thing, I sat on a panel with them about 6 years ago, and I love this, because they said someone asked, what's your first step with your patient? And they would say, first off, I'd like to see what their home life is. What is their friendship? What is their relationships like with their friends and family? But also, do they have a will to live? And I was very surprised when these doctors said, we ask them what their faith is, and then we pray. And I said, gosh, you don't hear doctors who say that. And it made sense. It really made sense. And I think faith and believe in what you're doing is part of winning this battle. So Dee, are you on a regular basis still? I know you said you still use medical cannabis on a regular basis. Are you going in for your checkups on a monthly, yearly, 6 months? I mean, how does that work with you?
Well, as part of my research, I realized that anything to do with scans and radiation and ultrasounds, I didn't want anywhere near my body. So I decided that after all the scans that I had before I was diagnosed, I was never going to have another one again. I said to my oncologist, the only thing I want you to do is blood test me, which he was happy to do. He says, if you have your bloods done every 3 months, then I'll be absolutely fine with that. Now, I had my blood, because when I was diagnosed, I was living in Spain, and then I moved to Cape Verde. So we do email each other with my oncologist. And when I sent him my blood results yesterday, he was absolutely fine with them. And he said, they're absolutely perfect. They're still normal, just carry on. Just send me another load of blood tests in another few months. So for me, at the moment, that's all I will do, is I will just have the blood tests. If my bloods show anything different, then I may think about different testing that doesn't involve ultrasound or scans or anything toxic.
Yeah.
But hopefully I will never come to that. But at the moment, I think he wanted me to do every 3 months for the next 2 years to be blood tested, which I'm happy to do that.
Yeah. And how old are your kids? I know you said you have kids.
So I have an 8-year-old and a 12-year-old.
Uh-huh. And they need mom around.
They certainly do, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And Christy, do you have, or, I know I'm getting the personal side with you, because you and I have spoken on the phone and emails. But do you have family support where you are?
Yes, I do. Yeah, and I also have 2 children. I have a 15-year-old and a 13-year-old at home. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Definitely a good support system.
Yeah. And how is this conversation with medical cannabis? I'm not a parent, but growing up, it was always, I couldn't have this talk with my parents. It was a bad. And I have friends that they use medical cannabis, but they're still telling their children stay away from it. And others are saying, this is medicine. This is mommy's medicine or daddy's medicine. Mm-hmm. Have you had that conversation with your children yet?
I have.
Yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
No, I have. When I was first taking the oil, they used to just call it mommy's special oil.
Uh-huh.
And then it's mommy's medicine, but now they know it's cannabis oil. So yeah, they know exactly what it is and what it does and how powerful it is.
Yeah. And what about you, Christy?
Same. I was open about it from the beginning. They understand that it's for medicinal purposes, and uh-huh. we're very open about it, and they know that I believe in it, and I mean I'm working for the company, so they know what I do for work as well. So yeah. So I'm definitely behind it 100%, and they are too. Yeah. So it's never been an issue. We just speak openly about it, which I think is the best thing. I mean, if you hide it, then they think that there's a problem. So
yeah, But it is a tough subject that, we've all been ingrained. It's bad, bad, bad from the media. You raise your children, stay away from this, and and then now we're doing it. So, I hope, episodes and docuseries like what we're doing here at the Sacred Plant can educate, you know, families and as well as their doctors. Is your doctor, I know you mentioned, Dee, that you have had this conversation with your doctor. Christy, what does your doctor think about this?
Yeah, it took me a while, because the first few oncologists that I spoke with were not on board with my protocol at all, that I decided to do on my own. But I did find an oncologist that's 100% behind me, and he's allowing me to just come in for the same thing. I get blood tests every 3 months, and we've just kind of kept it at that. And he's very supportive, and he's actually registered to watch the series because he's very excited, about what's been happening for me and the protocol, and he's interested in that as well. He, obviously has a lot of people that are looking for other answers too. So I love that he's open-minded about it, and it's really made a big change for me as well.
I think that's great, and you made a great point. And actually, for our listeners as well, if you ever have these, a lot of people are hesitant to have these talks with their family members as well as, as well as their doctors. So I think it's a perfect series to share with your family and doctors, because it is so medical. There's nothing about it that we're talking about as recreational. Recreation, there's nothing wrong with it, but I think to educate your the naysayers, I think this is a great platform for them to learn. That conference that I was just in with the International Integrative Oncologists a few weeks ago down in Florida, a couple of doctors said actually they have this streaming in their office, which I thought was great. So we pride ourselves in the education. People are asking, so I'm reading comments as we go here. So we have some people not in South Africa, but Costa Rica, Australia, New Zealand, British Columbia, and then here in America as well, Delray Beach down in Florida. So hello to all. And let me see here. I'm gonna ask people. I see on our site here to please hold back from selling anything. This is an educational site. I think it's wonderful. I hope everyone can make money in this industry, but can you please not sell hemp CBD on our site right now? If you want to reach out to us, email us, and we can get the word out for you. But I'm seeing 5, 6, 8, 10 different companies on here that people are trying to sell products. So I will block them. So just to save your fingers from typing away, I ask you if you can hold back on posting your items on here for sale. Sorry about that, ladies, but I had to stop that. So anything you want to share with our listeners as well, that I haven't touched up on that you can help someone that's going through what you ladies have gone through? Dee, you've had a great outcome here. Christy, do you want to talk about what you're going through, or you tell me?
Sure. Yeah. So I have had recently in the last my blood work, I noticed that my tumor marker numbers were going up just ever so slightly. They're still very low. So to my oncologist, everything seemed fine, but I felt like maybe something wasn't quite right. And there was some swelling under my armpits. And so we did go in, and I did have an ultrasound on that just to see what was happening. And it does look like maybe there's some suspicion in my lymph nodes. But I've been able to, especially because of the access that I have to amazing doctors and experts through the Sacred Plant. I've been able to speak with a doctor and really get the right protocol for medical cannabis. And so that's kind of what I want to really bring up, is that a lot of people believe in this and they try to move forward with it. And when I moved forward with it, I just did it on my own without really knowing dosing or what I should be doing or what types of oils I should be, just because there's a lot of information out there and it can kind of flood your mind with, maybe you take the wrong path. And so every person is different. Every cancer is different. So we're triple negative breast cancer, both Dee and I. And so, that takes higher THC is better for triple negative breast cancer. And it's not necessarily better for the estrogen positive cancer. So I just highly encourage everyone to seek out some, go to United Patients Group, speak to somebody who knows, and can help you with dosing, and you get the proper oils so that you're not getting something that maybe, isn't going to help you at all. You just want to make sure that you do your research and get the right oils and the right dosing.
Right dosing and protocols, stuff like that. And so I appreciate that, because a lot of people think it's just a one size fits all, and it's not. And that's even with epilepsy, that's even with autism, cancers, depression, bipolar. So, my advice, like you said, Christy, is meet with a medical professional that truly knows about medical cannabis and dosing and protocols. Your medicine, make sure it's tested. Someone asked me today about rashes. Yes, I have heard patients get rashes after consuming different types of medical cannabis. Have it tested. A lot of these, this happened in New Mexico a few years ago, where a lot of patients were buying medicine from a dispensary, and next thing you know, they were having sores around their mouth. They're throwing up, and then they had it tested, and it was loaded with different pesticides and different metals in there. So, be careful what you put in your body. And so I thank you for sharing that as well. What is your next step then, Christy?
Well, I've already, I changed the type of oil that I'm using, and so I'm building up to the proper dosing right now. And I'm pretty much there, but I'm like Dee, I have kids and work, and so it's difficult to build yourself up. You can't do it. Nobody can do it quickly, but yeah. So I'm just following the protocol, and I'm trying to be better about relaxing and learning how to handle stress and all of that sort of thing. So that's. But I believe that, I'm not worried. I think that everything's going to be fine. I just need to make sure that I have the right path. So that's what I'm doing.
Handle stress. You nailed it on the head. So
yeah, that's a hard one.
Breathe, stretch, yoga, visualize, pray, all those different types of things. So you're like, I know it's late for you, Dee, so I'm trying to keep you up here. For your lifestyle, I mean, both you ladies look like you're very healthy, in shape. What do you do for activities? Do you ladies work out? Are you into yoga, running, riding, swimming?
I just run after kids most of the time, so I think that's plenty enough.
Keeps you in shape, huh?
But yeah, to handle stress, I used to meditate. I haven't meditated for a while, but meditation is absolutely amazing for stress. That really soothed me, and that helped me a lot, actually, to meditate.
Yeah.
So that's a good one. But yeah, in terms of working out, I'm just constantly on the go. I never have time to sit down, to be honest with you. Well, exercise is key.
Exercise is key. That's what's kept me sane. And probably about 3 months ago, a friend of mine invited me to a 4-day silent retreat. And I thought, how in the world am I going to be silent for 4 days? And how am I going to meditate? Because my mind, the moment I slow down, my mind just takes off. And you know what? I walked out of there after 4 days. I did it. So I recommend that for everyone, because I didn't think there's no way I could pull this off. And day one, night one, I was into it, and I was into it for the full 4 days. And so when I walked out of there, I like 20 years younger. No, but so that might be helpful. I don't know. I'm not chasing kids right now either. So, we have we have a lot of new followers here. So again, we have Dee Mani Mitchell from South Africa, and Christy Tenrero from here in the United States, and both have battled breast cancer. Both were What was it? Type?
Triple negative.
Triple negative. Excuse me. I know breast cancer has so many different types of stages in there, or types of breast cancer, and so again, bringing it back to the cannabis is not a one size fits all. There's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of misinformation. It does get scary. So I'm glad we're here to help. For our followers, again, tonight is the premiere of season 2, the Sacred Plant Healing Secrets Examined. And if you have not signed up for this, you can go to thesacredplant.com and fill this out. It's a free docuseries, but they'll send you the link for tonight's webinar, docuseries, and it'll be episode 1 through 7 for the next 7 nights, and you'll have access for 24 hours. So if you're like Dee, who's down in South Africa and can't stay up that late, it will be on for 24 hours. And so I know we have a lot of followers from around the world that are watching this. Season 1, we had about 500,000, almost 500,000 followers, and it reached about 192 countries. And so boy, wouldn't that be wonderful if we can hit the million mark on that. I would say double the countries, but I think we only have 197 countries in the world or something like that. So we can't really start adding countries to our planet. So I do actually, last night I did have a winner that I chose for where did I put this? I'm sorry, everyone, but I will announce it. Where is this? I will announce it. And I did do screenshots, but I can't find it. But I did pick a winner, and I will pick a winner for tonight. And what that consists of is having a free consultation on United Patients Group with one of our medical professionals. So I will pick somebody from our Facebook live thread here, and I will contact you. So my apologies. I did have a screenshot of the winner, and I don't see that right now. But what can you share with our guests? I know I've asked you guys that. What a lot of people are going through breast cancer, and they're afraid. Let me see here. This is Cammie. I went through breast cancer scare for 2.5 weeks. I started gaps in diet, took some CBD oil. Thank God it was benign. So getting news like that, I mean, it's a scary road when you first get that diagnosis. When you first got that diagnosis, what was your next step? Did you have them do ultrasounds? I know, Dee, you said you wanted to keep everything that was toxic away from your body. A lot of these integrative oncologists that we work with, they've had us, they've taught us, and I learn every day, but they taught us about cordless phones in your house. So I changed all of our phones in our house. I still have the Wi-Fi on, but they would have a little timer that you would have on a light switch that would shut the Wi-Fi off at night at 1 a.m., or midnight. Did you guys change anything in your lifestyle like that?
Well, I personally just changed my diet, obviously, and I took supplements, and I tried to be as stress-free as possible by meditating and trying to be as calm as possible in a situation like that, which is difficult anyway. But straight after diagnosis, then I was just railroaded through, as the doctors do, 2-3 weeks full of scans and blood tests and this and that, and not know one way or the other. But to be honest with you, straight after diagnosis, your brain is just so numb that you don't actually know. You're just going through the motions because nothing's sinking in and you're not taking anything in. And it's so difficult to process all the information that they're giving to you that you kind of just haven't got a clue what's happening to you. So after diagnosis, it was a full-on 2-3 weeks before, biopsies and mammograms and CAT scans and this scan and that scan, that you kind of just, after all that stops, and then you take a seat back and then you decide what you want to do. It's a very scary time. It's a time where a lot of people panic and they get railroaded into taking conventional medicine. Because oncologists scare them into doing that, which, it's, as Christy said, I will never ever say that it's wrong for people, because it has to be right for you. And if people doing conventional medicine is right for them, then they have do that because they have to believe in it. Like what you said earlier, it's your belief, and whatever you believe in, that's what motivates you to heal. So what my advice for people is to just try to be so open-minded as possible, and to seek alternatives. And more importantly is to research, understand why you're having what you're having, what the doctors are asking you to have, and just, fully arm yourself and educate yourself, which is exactly what I did. I think that's the best.
When you changed your diet, did you stay away from dairy and different types of meats as well?
I did. I cut sugar, I cut dairy, sugar obviously the most important because that feeds the cancer. The dairy, I cut out meats and chicken. I ate very little fish. I basically lived on a plant-based diet, and had juiced loads of greens. I even started juicing cannabis leaves as well. Took supplements, took essential oils. So I was full on. For the first 4 months, I was full on doing that protocol day in, day out. And that's obviously that works, because I don't know what cured or what healed me. I do think that the cannabis oil played the biggest part, but I think every single element in my protocol helps it along the way.
And I've said this numerous times. I'm a big fan of a 1, 2, 3, even 4, 5, 6 punch, and do it that way. And what about you, Christy?
Yeah, I guess I think the one thing that I didn't really do right away was take a step back. I think you need to just kind of breathe. and it's not necessarily a death sentence, and immediately it kind of, that's what comes into your mind, and so you get it's very scary. But I think my best advice is to just take a step back and figure out, what your thought process is, how you feel about it. Do the research, like Dee said, take the time to do that. Meet with the doctors if that makes you feel better. And if you want to see both sides, I did do both, and I did do surgery. I went in straight away, had a lumpectomy, because I was scared, but for some reason, something was just telling me not to go the chemo and radiation route. So my treatment has been somewhat integrative because I did do surgery, but yeah, it's just take a step back and breathe a little bit, and I've been doing the same, just trying to meditate and keep my stress levels low, and keep a positive attitude. That's the main thing. Once you make a decision, you have to own it. That's yours, and you move forward and do what you're doing, and believe in it. And I think otherwise, you're lost.
Yeah. And I know sleep's very important. I know, Dee, you said that you've are very fortunate. You have full night's sleep. And what about you, Christy? Are you getting that as well?
I don't get as much as Dee.
I know. I was kind of jealous of that too. I know.
I really wish I did, but no. Especially since starting the cannabis oil, because I was very susceptible to that feeling, and I didn't love that feeling. So I would take it at night at first, and it really, it helped so much with my sleep. I did have a really hard time staying asleep. Always for years. I don't know if it's just being a mother and you're worried about your kids or what it was, but I had a really hard time staying asleep, and now I don't. I sleep well, and much better than I used to. So, but it is very important. I could use more sleep, that's for sure.
Well, you both look very rested, and so I would never, looking at you two, would never think that anything but health. I'm going to flip through here, and something just came up here. Janine was one of our followers on season 1, and she was part of the docuseries and webinar series, and so she just wrote here she has a lung scan Friday, praying for good results. So if I'm throwing out prayers for you, Janine, so it's good to see you back here as well. And we have quite a few people on from Kansas, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Rochester, New York, Phillips Ranch. So I appreciate everyone being on with this call here. I know season 2 starts in 10 minutes. And so do you have any closing words, Dee, that you'd like to share with our followers?
Just to be completely open-minded and to be completely positive. That is all.
I thank you for that. And Christy?
Yeah, pretty much the same. I mean, just do your research, believe in what you're doing, and follow that path. It has to be your own.
Uh-huh.
For sure.
Well,
yeah.
Well, I thank you both. Normally I would go I can go on for an hour and a half, 2 hours, but I know season 2 is starting, and I hope people are running to their computer screens and getting their popcorn and sitting in and enjoying it. So we had a lot of fun putting it together, and I hope that everyone will enjoy what we put together for them. But it's going to be season 2, premiering tonight. The Healing Secrets Examined, for the Sacred Plant Healing Secrets Examined. It's a 7-part docuseries starting tonight. It'll air for each episode will air for 24 hours. If you have not signed up for this yet, you can find it on thesacredplant.com, and it is free. So please share it with your friends, your family, your doctors. If you know any politicians, please send it to them as well. I think a lot of patients and family members need this type of medicine, and it's a shame that it's not fully accessible, not only in all 50 states, but around the globe as well. We have a lot of families that contact us on a regular basis saying, help, I don't have access to it in my country or my state. Hopefully this type of education that we're putting out for the masses will reach the masses, and they'll also get a lot out of this, just like Dee and Christy did, and that's how they found us. And I thank you very, very much for sharing your personal stories. And I know it is a personal story, and I thank you because you're not alone. A lot of people listening right now, they feel alone, they're scared, and so sharing your successes and what you're going through brings everyone together too. So I applaud you, and I send you a lot of blessings as well. And if you ever need to talk, I'm here, we're here. And I know, Christy, you work with us, so you know how to get a hold of me. And Dee, I'd love for you to share your book with us, and I'll get it out to the masses as well. We're here to help people. So I hope you enjoy season 2, the Sacred Plant Healing Secrets Examined, which is going to be live here in about 8 minutes. If you have not received your login, it should be there shortly. If you have not signed up, you can go to thesacredplant.com, and it will be sign up there. Again, it's a free docuseries, and they'll send you the link to watch that as well. So, Dee, have a wonderful evening. I know it's late for you, so get your 10 hours of sleep that you're talking about. Christy, I know you're here in the States, and but blessings to you both, and I truly hope to be able to meet you both face to face one of these days as well.
Thank you, John.
And I thank you for sharing your story, and everyone, thank you for being on, and enjoy the Sacred Plant Healing Secrets Examined season 2. So blessings to everybody, and have a great evening.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night. Good night.